businesses grow with $36 billion in farm credit today. The department has engaged its resources to support a strong next generation of farmers by improving access to land and capital, building new markets and market opportunities. They also have worked to extend new conservation opportunities. USDA has developed new markets for rural products and more than 2,500 bio-based products, they said, through their Bio Preferred program, and invested $64 billion in infrastructure.
When white mold is coming, you can feel it, like a bad omen. Anyone who grows peanuts knows white mold can take a farm by storm. And there's only so much you can do about it.
Actually, no.
Excuse me?
Well, you see, now there's Elatus, the fungicide with 2 powerful active ingredients that control white mold.
I'm not buying you.
If you want higher yields, you will. Because along with white mold, Elatus controls several other diseases, which means healthier plants and higher yield potential.
You don't say.
I do. In fact, trials have shown it can produce up to 800 more pounds of peanuts per acre than competitors.
You talk like you're full of tall tales.
More like scientific research. With such long-lasting control, Elatus really can bring yields that reach for the sky.
So when white mold is coming,
we'll be fully prepared. Visit syngentaus.com/Elatus to learn more. Always read and follow label instructions.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. If this had been an actual emergency, such as a hurricane or tornado, official messages would have followed the alert tones. WOCA serves the Marion County area. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA, The Source.
Do you like Vietnamese food? Well, come to Kim Long's, Ocala's one and only Vietnamese restaurant. The goal of Kim Long's is to capture the authenticity of the Vietnamese homeland and get a taste of other influences within the Vietnamese cuisine. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sundays, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can make reservations by calling 352-236-5791. That's Kim Long, Ocala's only Vietnamese restaurant.
This is Kendall Carpenter with Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club. I want to introduce you to the finest equestrian opportunity available. If you love horses and enjoy Central Florida's mild climate and rich rolling landscape, come explore Golden Ocala. Bridle trails weave their way through this stunningly beautiful community of stately homes. Our state-of-the-art equestrian center will meet all of your equestrian needs with style. Visit us at goldenocala.com.
New windows will beautify your home and bring you immediate energy savings. Renewal by Anderson of Central Florida leads the way in quality and installs the name brand homeowners trust. Visit renewalbyanderson.com for a free in-home consultation with the pros. Right now, buy 4 windows and get the 5th free. Plus no money down, 0% interest, and 0 payments for 12 months with approved credit. Visit renewalbyanderson.com. That's renewalbyanderson.com. Offer ends July 31st. License CGC 1523333.
Well, I'm goofing off, and I missed my cue there, Robin. I know. So, all right, Dr. Craig Reynolds was expected to be on. He was going to talk to us about lung cancer.
He's supposed to be calling right now.
Oh, he's calling right now.
His publicist.
Oh, he's calling right now. Okay, all right. Well, let me do this. So I'm going to answer the phone on the air. So if you're on the phone right now, then you are just about ready to go on the air with me. I think our guest is on the phone. Correct? Good morning. Is this Dr. Craig Reynolds? Whoever was the operator didn't want to have to talk to me on the air.
Okay.
Well, I tried to make it clear. Good morning.
I know.
Good morning, Dr. Reynolds.
Yeah, good morning, Larry. How are you?
There you are. Good. God, thank you for being on the air. We went straight to the air. Normally, we would have like an off-air conversation first, but the clock ran out and I had no choice. But good morning. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Good to be here.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
Just from my office, just across town from you. I'm on call today, so it's a little bit of a busy.
Oh, okay. You're an oncologist here in Ocala, then. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, right here in town.
Okay, so we're talking specifically about lung cancer or all cancers?
Well, we're talking about these exciting new immunotherapy drugs, which show great promise in lung cancer, which is kind of my area of research interest. But these drugs also have a lot of activity in other forms of cancer as well.
Okay. So let me be an amateur and try to figure this out. The word immunotherapy sounds like there might be hope that there's a way to make us immune to cancer. Is that right?
That's right. So immunotherapy is allowing our immune system to do a better job of fighting cancer. And we now understand that cancer can kind of hide from the immune system, and we have new drugs that fight the ability of the cancer to hide from the immune system. And we have a lot of exciting new results now that show that these drugs show very promising activity in a variety of diseases, including lung cancer.
Okay, so the way, again, I'm just a radio guy, so forgive anything I say that sounds really dopey, but the way I understand it, a virus, for example, or a bacteria, those are things that happen to us that are completely different than what cancer is. The way I understand cancer, it's like a mutation that our body shouldn't be doing but is allowing it to do, and normally if we're healthy we can stop it in its tracks when it starts, right?
That's right.
Okay, so how does the immunotherapy strengthen our ability to stop it in its tracks?
Yeah, so what we've learned is that we have these cells in our body called tumor-infiltrating lymphocytes. It's almost like Pac-Man. It'll go inside a cancer and just chew it up. But these cells in some cancer patients just sit there and don't do anything. And the reason is the cancer expresses a protein that basically tells these little Pac-Man cells, no, it's okay, I'm supposed to be here, just leave me alone. So they go into kind of a resting state. And what these new drugs do is kind of unblind the immune system so that, Pac-Man can go back to munching up on the cancer.
Wow. How have they figured that out? I mean, what was what's the trail there? How did somebody decide that this was the way cancer worked?
Yeah, this took 20 years of a lot of research by a lot of people, and for a long time people rolled their eyes at immuno-oncology research, but now it's finally taken hold, and these drugs are reaching the clinic and really are revolutionizing cancer care.
And when my husband Ronnie was diagnosed with cancer, he wasn't feeling well. He felt he had a bad congestion, and he went into his general practitioner, and he said, "No, I think you've got lung cancer. You need to go to a cancer doctor." And they found it in his lung, and gratefully that it was all contained in the left lung, and then they removed that left lung and they got it all, as opposed to having the kind that spread all over the place.
Yeah, and unfortunately the problem we have is most patients are not as fortunate as your husband was, Robin, in that they most of the time are diagnosed when their lung cancer is already spread, and until now we haven't had really good answers for those folks, but these immunotherapy drugs really offer a lot of promise for patients with advanced lung cancer.
So I don't know if this is going to be an easy question to answer, but why does smoking or any like toxins, they say, or any carcinogens, that's the word they use, right? Why does smoking and other carcinogens, why does it actually cause cancer? And why does cancer sometimes, like, for example, why do some people get lung cancer who never smoked?
Yeah, so part of what happens is, we think that cancer occurs because of, a cell division that goes abnormal. And most of the time when that happens, the cells die because our cells in our body are programmed to die when they don't divide properly. Sometimes, though, that doesn't happen, and that can be the beginning of cancer. And then the next line of defense is for the immune system to clear it before it can become clinically apparent. And then if that fails, then the patient can develop lung cancer. In the case of lung cancer, people who smoke are basically bathing their lungs in these mutagenic compounds that just increase the risk of having one of these abnormal division events in the lung. And so the risk of lung cancer is obviously much higher in someone who smokes. We do see lung cancer in non-smokers. It's become a little bit more prominent as people have become smarter and are less likely to smoke nowadays.
The meeting in Chicago, did you already go, or is that something yet to be?
No, the meeting in Chicago is actually ending today. I didn't go because I was on call for the practice.
Oh, I see.
But you can actually watch it on the internet nowadays. So,
oh, is that right?
There's a virtual meeting.
There was a news item yesterday. I wanted to read it to you because I wondered if it applied to what we're talking about. It's from the Bloomberg News Agency, and it says, I won't read the whole thing, I'll just give you the first piece. It says, a large-scale study comparing Guardant Health Incorporated's blood test to tissue biopsies showed that results were closely matched. The findings may help doctors feel more confident in using the blood test as a non-invasive alternative to traditional biopsies, according to the startup. Researchers used the blood samples of more than 15,000 advanced cancer patients and compared the frequencies of mutations in specific tumor types to previously published data from genomic analysis of tumor tissue. Anyway, I won't read the whole thing, but it sounds like there is a blood test that might be as reliable as a biopsy. Does that affect what you do at all? And could it detect cancer on the horizon sooner than maybe a biopsy would?
Well, certainly we hope that will happen eventually. What the Guardian test does is helps identify some of the mutations that drive lung cancer, and these are particularly important in the patients who are non-smokers who develop lung cancer. And we have some specific drugs for some of those mutations. And we now understand that the cancer can become resistant to initial drugs, and we can identify the mechanism of that resistance and use second-line drugs. And the problem we've had in the past is we have to keep going back and biopsying people. And the problem you can imagine, is if the tumor's in your lung, you get real tired real fast of people sticking tumors in your lung all the time.
Right, I bet.
So these blood tests are hopefully going to give us a way of following these folks without having to stick needles into their lung all the time.
Okay. Let me take a little break, and we'll be right back. Stick with us. Don't go away. Dr. Craig Reynolds here in Ocala, by the way. He's an oncologist with Florida Cancer Affiliates. We're talking about lung cancer research, collective wisdom, the future of patient-centered care and research, and giving us kind of a report of what has been happening up in Chicago at the presentation that happened at their annual meeting. We'll take a little break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and humid on this Tuesday with a couple of showers and a heavier thunderstorm in the area, high 85 to 89. Mostly cloudy Tuesday night with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, low 72 to 76. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with showers and some heavier thunderstorms with flooding downpours, the high 85 to 89. Thursday, clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm or two, high 86 to 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lockdock and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
All right, 17 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. On the phone, Dr. Craig Reynolds. We're talking about cancer, lung cancer specifically. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call in and ask them. The number is 622-9622. Doctor, when we see when you're in school and they try to encourage you not to smoke, they show you lungs that have been smoked, lungs that have been smoked, lungs that have been inside of people that had smoked and when they were alive. Does the cancerous lung of a non-smoker look the same as the cancerous lung of a smoker?
No, not usually. So. One of the reasons non-smokers do better with lung cancer is their underlying lung is usually much healthier than that of a smoker. And then we've learned that the cancer itself has a much different burden of mutations, so it's not as abnormal as the cancers that develop in smokers.
Let me take a phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Dr. Reynolds.
Yes, good morning, doctor. You know, as a guy, I go in every year for my checkup and my prostate exam. Should we be including a lung exam to detect a lung cancer?
We nowadays do understand that we can do CT screening for lung cancer. It's a specialized kind of low radiation dose CT screening. So if you're a smoker, that is worth doing. If you're a non-smoker, it probably is not worth doing and would not be recommended.
How about family hereditary?
Again, if you had a strong family history of lung cancer, that would be something to talk about with your physician. But again, probably when we see that, it's usually smoking related.
Thank you. Thank you for the call.
Is there a waiting list for lung transplant patients like there is for kidney transplant?
There is. We usually do not do transplants for cancer patients because the immunosuppression that we need after a transplant kind of does the opposite of these new immunotherapy drugs and allows the cancer to grow really rapidly. Kind of remember, if you remember back years ago when Mickey Mantle had cancer in his liver, they did a transplant on him and he died very rapidly from fulminant cancer because the cancer just grew like wildfire when they put him on immunosuppressives.
Oh.
Included, Doctor, in the information that was sent to us is information about the Hope Clinic, and it sounds like this is for those people who just don't have any money or the right insurance or something. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we have a variety of ways to get, these new drugs, like anything new in medicine, are expensive, but we have a variety of mechanisms to get these drugs into patients. One of those mechanisms is clinical trials, and we've been very active in some of the clinical trials that have led to the development of these immuno-oncology drugs. And then in addition, the companies that make these drugs are generally very generous in providing patient support so that patients have access to these drugs. And I have to say, we have not had a situation where we had a patient who needed one of these drugs that could not get access to it, either on a study or off study.
Okay, so I don't want to give anybody false hope with my question, so please understand it's a question. I'm not implying that there's a fact here. But have you ever witnessed somebody who actually was cured of cancer with immunotherapy?
We don't know yet if we've cured people, but clearly we are seeing very long-term responses in patients. And in fact, at the Chicago meeting this week, they reported, 2-year survival for patients treated with immunotherapy was double what it was for patients who were treated with chemotherapy in the second-line setting. And clearly there's a group of patients that get long-term benefit. We don't yet know if there is cure. And we have a couple of patients that we've treated here in Ocala on some of the clinical trials who have been in remission for well over a year, doing very well. You'd never know they had lung cancer.
Does that include children as well as adults?
We have not treated children in our practice, and I have to be honest, I do not know how much of this has been done in children. Probably not a lot. I think most of the research has been only in adults.
I like the theme of your meeting, Collective Wisdom, the Future of Patient-Centered Care and Research, because it seems with when all of the doctors come together, they can have all of these discussions, and if something comes up in one doctor's practice and it doesn't come up in the other, you can be prepared for that.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things in medicine and really science in general is there's a lot of sharing of wisdom and discussion and collaboration, across not just across America, but really across the world and across continents now.
So did you bring? Well, you didn't go, but have you seen anything in your own personal practice where somebody said to you that something they were doing was making a difference? I don't know. You always hear about holistic cures, people, eating leaves or something. Or I don't mean to laugh at that, actually, but you know what I mean. You'll hear things all the time, and you wonder if the doctors are rolling their eyes or if there's really something to some of these things.
Yeah, well, there's always isolated patients who will do surprisingly well, and that can give us a signal, but we really try to be systematic in identifying things that help. And a lot of these holistic cures that are out there, have not been scrutinized, and we think probably would not stand up to scrutiny. And so we're always, happy to do these studies scientifically to really understand what helps patients and what doesn't help patients.
Would immunotherapy for cancer, for skin cancer, be a topical treatment like an ointment or something? Like, how would you treat something on the surface?
Yeah, again, has not been used for localized skin cancer, but for melanoma, which is the more serious form of skin cancer that it can spread and kill people, immunotherapy shows great promise. And the best example of that is Jimmy Carter, who, as you know, was diagnosed with metastatic melanoma and is now in complete remission because he was treated with a combination of 2 immunotherapy drugs.
Oh, wow. Now, he might be at the upper end of the income bracket. I don't know. I think Jimmy Carter's probably got money. Does that make a difference?
No. As a matter of fact, insurance covers, immunotherapy like they do anything else. And again, there's access to these drugs through patient assistance programs for patients who don't have insurance or have, insurance that doesn't really cover them very well.
Is lung cancer the most diagnosed form of cancer in the U.S.?
It's not the most common form of cancer, but it is the leading cancer killer. In fact, if you add up breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer, there are still fewer cancer deaths from those combined than there is from lung cancer in any given year.
Is it because it's the lungs? Because if you, like Robin's husband, he's got one lung now he's living with.
Yeah, I think mostly it's because it's been a tough disease. It's been a cancer that has spent its entire existence bathed in carcinogens, these terrible things, and then all of a sudden we start trying to treat these people with chemotherapy, and the cancer, some of the stuff we're treating it with isn't any worse than what it's been seeing in the cigarette smoke all these years, so it hasn't been as effective. But the hope now is that we're starting to turn the corner with more effective therapy for lung cancer that will begin to change that outcome.
Well, thank you for being on the air with us. There is something different about your interview with most of our guests. Most of our guests either have a book or a website or a record or a movie or something to promote, and I don't want to say goodbye without you having a chance to promote anything you might have. I don't have notes that indicate you've written a book, but if you have, you're welcome to mention it, or the address you're at, the clinic you're at, the office, and anything you want to give so the listeners can learn more.
No, thanks, Larry. I work at Florida Cancer Affiliates. We're right here in Ocala. We have world-class research. So, when I came to Ocala, I felt very strongly patients shouldn't have to go to a university to get access to research trials. So now, patients here in Ocala can get state-of-the-art, world-class care without having to drive, 100 miles, down to Moffat or up to Gainesville. So we're really excited about the future, and we think that cancer is still a tough disease, but I don't think we've ever been more optimistic that we're really making real progress in the fight against this awful disease.
Okay, so is the immunotherapy in the clinical trial stages?
It is. We do have clinical trials with it, but the drugs have been approved in lung cancer, kidney cancer, melanoma, Hodgkin's disease. bladder cancer, and more approvals are coming. So it's going to really change. That answer is different than it was 2 weeks ago, and it'll probably be different in another month or two.
Wow, so it's constantly changing. So if you've been living with cancer and you've kind of just been doing whatever you've been doing, you might want to look into what changes have happened in the last few months or even the last year. It could be good news for some of you. Dr. Craig Reynolds, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. You're in Ocala. You're welcome to come into the studio anytime.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right, we will take a break and we will be right back.
Listen up, Ocala. Now that the rain has stopped, here are some fabulous weekend specials at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. It's a wonderful BOGO on trees, all trees, every tree in Bob's huge stock. Buy one, get one at half price. And Bob Wine's has crepe myrtles starting as low as $4.99. The bigger ones at the number 10 size are buy one and get one. And listen to this.